Hi there, it's Dr. Connolly. Welcome to Module 3. I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but at the end of this module, we'll be halfway through the class. Okay, so you just finished your first exam. As soon as I get those graded, as well as the homeworks, I'll send out an announcement and give you kind of a general overview of how folks did and hints for the next one. All right, to remind you that you have 2 discussion posts due this module, one by Wednesday, the other by Sunday. And then your second homework will be due next week during Module 4. All right, but what I'm going to suggest to you is to take a look at that homework assignment, which again is repeated here in this module so that you have the maximum amount of time to do it. Again, upload it when you finish it only once, not to both of them. All right, only once. But what I'm going to suggest that you do is do that interview this week, and then next week, after you do the readings, write your paper where you analyze your interview in relation to the material from next week. Okay? All right. So let's talk real briefly about the materials that you'll be looking at for this week. Okay, so this week you have lots of reading, all right, lots of reading. I think even more than you've had for the other modules. However, it's easier, all right, it's fun. But that being said, and we're talking about sexuality, we're talking about bodies, we're talking about families, um, but what you need to pay attention to in these pieces are the things we learned about in modules 1 and 2, kind of the theoretical debates that are going on, the challenges to norms, the challenges to kind of our fixed notions of sex and gender, how those things get blown apart. While they're fun, all right, think about these articles and also pay attention to the methods that the authors use in order to get their points across. Did they do an empirical study? If so, how did they go about doing it? All right, interviews, all right, a historical overview, or are they addressing theory? For example, the article on straight girls kissing, all right, has us think about heteronormativity. All right, I mean, that part is the purpose of that article, is to have us think about whether kind of that phenomenon of kind of young women, typically at parties, kissing, is that a challenge to heteronormativity or not? In a very, very different kind of way, the article by Lewis on pelvic exams, all right, the history of physicians' use of pelvic exams also has us think about heteronormativity. Okay, so both of these pieces are very interesting, very provocative, about the evidence that they use, whether it be pelvic exams or kissing. But the purpose of those illustrations is to have us think about the concept of heteronormativity. All right. Similarly, the article by eminent scientist Fausta Sterling has us literally think about bones, right? The bones in our bodies, right? Her purpose of that article is to have us think about the social construction of both of the concepts of sex and gender. How in her mind, it's a chicken and egg kind of question. And where, in particular, we think about sex as being fixed and what it means and kind of the biological basis of determinations of sex, she has us also understand that sex has elements of culture that are associated with it in her study, her literal study of the bones of the body. So again, while these are interesting and fun pieces to read, the important part of the articles is what I want you to pay attention to. What's the purpose of the piece? How did the author go about and do his or her research and then come to the findings and analysis that the piece illustrates? Okay, so I hope you have a good week, or again, lots of reading this week, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.